Well, the hospital has been trying to uplift its image and provide services that they reach the wealthy and those of us Nigerians that are always rushing out of this country for medical tourism, to now provide the same quality of service delivery in our own hospitals here at home. And we're hopeful that with this now, the well-to-do, rather than traveling abroad, will now patronize our own hospitals for care in our own hospitals. That should improve the revenue base of the hospital. And with that improvement, with the additional funds that are available now to the management of this hospital, the hospital should be able to now utilize these funds that are available for better service delivery to the teeming patients that patronize this hospital. So it's in a way, saying, taking from the well-to-do to provide better service delivery for the generality of Nigerians that patronize this hospital.
There are ways going around the services are becoming a bit harder for the low-income earner. What do you have to say about this?
Well, they are not a bit harder in a way. You see, what is happening is that before the computerization of this hospital, there are many ways that those of us who are not very good with the system, or rather good for the system, are now utilizing the loopholes to pilfer some funds that are supposed to be coming to the management. Every fund that is being charged has always been in existence. It's just that previously, either some other unscrupulous individuals are taking the money into their pockets, or the patients are not paying for these services. But now with the computerization, it's becoming virtually impossible for anybody to get the services without the payment being received. I'm sure you're aware of X-ray with receipt, 2,000 naira, X-ray without receipt, 500 naira. That 500 naira doesn't get into the government coffers because that is why it's not receipted. It goes into the unscrupulous individuals' pockets, while X-ray with receipt is one that gets eventually to the government coffers. That is, if it eventually gets into government coffers. But now this is virtually impossible with the computerization. So the computerization has basically made it impossible now to pilfer funds that should be coming to the government. And I'm sure you do know the service delivery is much better, and that with the funds available now in this hospital, anybody who reports to the emergency, notwithstanding whether he has money or he does not have money, the management ensures that service is delivered to that individual, and we save life first and then talk about money later.
So
now
the issue of depositing 20,000 naira before one should be attended to is not true?
It's not true. Eventually, you have to settle your bills. Everybody must settle his bills. You understand? But we do recognize that emergencies do not warn you. And because emergencies do not warn you, sometimes patients rush into the hospital and they do not have the 20,000 naira initial deposit to make. If it's an emergency, the management will ensure that that emergency case is taken care of. But ultimately, the family will still need to go and raise the money and still has to pay the hospital for consumables that have been utilized in taking care of the patient. These consumables are not free. And because they are not free, the suppliers have to be paid. If the suppliers are not paid, that services which is delivered to you on emergency when the need arises will not be available for you tomorrow, because you will realize that when you come tomorrow, those items will not be available in the hospital because the previous items have not been paid for. We're trying to make life easy for the patient and to make it better for the patient. Now, one thing our health system has not done for us in Nigeria is that we're about maybe the only country now in the world, because even other African countries have moved ahead of us. Rwanda, Kenya, Ethiopia, they've all moved ahead of us in terms of this. We're about the only patient in the country, when you have an emergency, you go to the hospital, you have to bring out money and pay out of pocket. All other countries in the world, if it's an emergency, you are taken care of. If it's elective, if it's not an emergency, that is when you have to sort yourself out. But for all emergencies, the system tries to take care of you because nobody is warned. That's why it's called an emergency. It's an accident. It just happens. And it can happen to you. I remember my teacher, the man that trained me. He's of blessed memory now, Professor Adeoye Adeniyi. He's an emeritus professor of pediatrics and the father of quantum malaria nephropathy, as you call it, at the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital. And I recall one time while we were in the special care baby unit at the University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital, I was a senior registrar. And he told me, Suleiman, do you want to succeed? And I said, of course, sir. And he told me, just do the work that you're given. Whatever work you're given, do it with all your strength and don't rest until it is done. And that is the recipe for success. All I'm doing is I'm doing the work that I'm given to do. This hospital is a federal tertiary hospital, and it was established for three main reasons. One is the key reason why the hospital was established: service delivery. The remaining two reasons are there to support number one reason: training. When we train resident doctors and they become specialists, we get better service delivery. Research. When we carry out research, we find better ways of doing the things that we do, and it translates into better service delivery. So all we're doing is we're going back to service delivery. How do we serve the multitude of patients that come into this hospital? And like my chairperson, Haja Hanata Akilo, always tell me, we had the first meeting we had after she was appointed the chairperson. She told me, then I was MD, before I became CMD. She told me, MD, whatever is right for the patient is right. Whenever the patient is not happy, then whatever it is that you're doing is not right. Always do what will make the patient to be happy, what will translate into happiness to your patient. And effectively, I think that's all that we're doing. We're trying to make life easy for the patient and to make it better for the patient. And now, one thing our health system has not done for us in Nigeria is that we're about maybe the only country now in the world, because even other African countries have moved ahead of us. Rwanda, Kenya, Ethiopia, they've all moved ahead of us in terms of this. We're about the only patient in the country, when you have an emergency, you go to the hospital, you have to bring out money and pay out of pocket. All other countries in the world, if it's an emergency, you are taken care of. If it's elective, if it's not an emergency, that is when you have to sort yourself out. But for all emergencies, the system tries to take care of you because nobody is warned. That's why it's called an emergency. It's an accident. It just happens. And it can happen to you. For the well-to-dos, like my friend, the manager of GT, he always has money in the bank account, and so he can always take care of business. But there are some of us who go what we call Tashin Sahabbai in Hausa. The Sahabis are like the companions of the Holy Prophet. So we normally call it like that you wake up just like the companions of the Holy Prophet. They wake up without knowing when the next meal is going to come. They don't sleep with a kobo, and they wake up without a kobo. And so in such a situation, when an emergency happens to you, you don't have a kobo, and you are now asked to present an emergency, and people are waiting for you to bring out money. That is all the system tries to do. How do we provide for our people? How to utilize the resources that we get to provide service for our people? And like I was explaining to Arise TV the other day, that is what the wallet system that we're operating is here to do. If you get to an emergency, you don't need money to open the folder. You will be seen, you'll be triaged, you'll be assessed. If tests need to be performed, they will be conducted. If operation need to be done, that operation will be done. If emergency drugs need to be served, they will be collected from the pharmacy and you'll be served, the patient will be served. After we've been able to stabilize and save the patient, we can now start discussing how do you pay your bills. Are you insured? Are you under NHIS? Are you under retainership? Do you have any other person that can settle your bills? I think that is all the system is trying to do. And so that is all that we try to do. And that we always see, we train not only, he mentioned resident doctors. Yesterday, the nurses were telling us that we have almost 80 nurses in training. Because to complement the doctor, you need the nurse. If not, in most illnesses, people will not know. The determinant of survival is good nursing care. You need a good doctor, but whatever the good doctor will do, without good nursing care, you will lose whatever benefit you've gotten. And so the system tries to train not only the doctors, but also to provide nurses to complement them, to provide radiographers and lab scientists that will bring out genuine and reliable results. And so everybody, the pharmacist, that will do the work they're supposed to do. So whatever we try to do is to see that we provide that human resource, that will provide the training to ensure that the output of the healthcare worker is maximized. And then, of course, we now support research to see that we get better ways of doing the things that we do. So, not to bore you with all this long discussion, I think that's all that we're trying to do. We're just doing the work that we've been given to do. And I thank you very much for the honor that you've done to me and the fact that you've found me worthy of being given this honor. But let me finally say that I'm not alone. I have the team that is working with me.
If you have not come around in the last 2-3 years, if you come around the hospital now, I think you will get lost. In fact, the staff here, sometimes I find it difficult to locate some places because of the development in terms of structure and in terms of machines. When you talk of both diagnostic and therapeutic or interventional machines, we have them here. He has brought them. He's a visionary leader, and this award we are about to give you is not by chance. It is an award that is well deserved because we have considered several CEOs and CMDs, and everybody unanimously, pointed that this award should come to Federal Teaching Hospital. Thank you very much, sir.
I stand on the existing protocol. They say when it rains, it trickles down. And it's not enough for us as Fadama All-Star Social Club to come and give the MD award and then walk away like that. So in our only two way, we have come also to extend our support to complement the efforts of the hospital. So on behalf of Fadama All-Star Social Club, Mr. MD, please accept this little token from us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
As the Chief Medical Director, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we wish to thank the generous attitude of this organization for appreciating the efforts that the management and the MD is making and the services that this hospital is providing to the population. We appreciate such gestures because this is the only way we can keep on moving and improve our performance. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.